some of the judges that have been here in the past keep saying everything looks better written each year. It's coming out a little bit better than the year before, so, you know, great job. What we do is a quick assessment. The judges that have judged your product are just going to give you a 2 or 3 minute rundown of, you know, this is what they saw, this is what they liked, this is what you could probably improve on a little bit. So we're just going to bring the judges up and let them go.
I'm Chris. I had muffins and pies. So overall, I think with the muffins, some negatives were that some were overmixed. And then when they were being portioned out, they were getting the various sizes. The dispersion of the blueberries in the muffin, some you cut into pockets. In the center, there would be blueberry across it. Some didn't have any blueberries at all when we broke them open. I think overall they were all doing tender. They were all tender. Some people did some sugar on it, so that was pretty good. Tunneling from overmixing, I think, was a big one across the board. Scaling. Scaling, yeah.
Due to the poor scaling, a lot of the ones that are scaled are overbaked. Probably a little bit more overbaked, but by and large, they all tasted very good. So it was really product appearance and scaling, I think, and dispersion. Yes. Can you hear me now? Good. So, should I go through it again? You don't want to get beat up anymore. Then I also judged, looked at the Danish as well, or in this case, the sweet dough. On the bright side, the ones that were the best had better cinnamon swirls inside of the cinnamon roll, and also the coffee cakes. There were some really nice intricate cuts and interesting shapes on the coffee cakes. But when I look at it, I have a retail bakery. I'm Gary Gottenbush from Cincinnati, Ohio. Would I put that in front of my customer? Would you buy that if you were in my store? And by and large, no, it's fine for home baking. We have to bring it up a little bit of a level. The ones that did the best had a real nice patternation in it. Even though it was a beautiful coffee cake, it just didn't look good from the outside. When I cut it open, it was proofed perfectly, and the bake was spot on. But it just didn't have enough on the outside. But we judged on the whole of the coffee cake and the Danish. Now the worst of the cinnamon rolls, or I call them commas. It wasn't a roll at all. It just had a little swatch of cinnamon. There was one that was interesting. I think it was a play on the cinnamon roll, so it was a kind of a deconstructed cinnamon roll with a splotch of cinnamon, which was interesting. Trying to think, the bake was very inconsistent. We had a lot of really dark, and some that were actually had raw product and overbaked product in the same mix. So I know it's different with difficult with the different sizes and that sort of thing. But time management is critical. You have to be able to balance and judge. But overall, it was a good job, and I appreciate being asked to come up and judge. Thank you, guys.
How you doing? I'm Dale Biles. I judge the French bread. One of the things I want you guys to understand is that when you're baking in a competition, you should be baking ranges, meaning you should be baking enough product that you can pick your best, because you don't know the oven situation, you don't know the pans that you're using. I know a little bit of a curveball with using that different size pan on the muffins. Years of experience will give you the understanding that you got to bake a range, so this way you can overbake some stuff, underbake some stuff, and still pick out the best stuff that actually appears over there. Judging the French bread, the biggest thing that I seen was majority of every piece of French bread I had was underbaked. And that's because a lot of people are not familiar with the crust that's supposed to be building on the outside, the crispiness, the crunch, and the overall proofing of the product. I thought that the effort made that you guys all did today was amazing, because you're doing so many different items in one day. You had your local competition and brought it to a national level. But the key is that when I judge a particular product, I look at the fact that, would I bring this home to my family? Would I allow my customer to buy this? And that becomes your measurement of whether you should be putting something on the table or not. You guys did an excellent job. I know it was, really a rush for you today to get all this stuff done, and you did a great job. So that's what I had to say about the French bread. Thanks.
Good job, everyone. Yeah, it is. Good. Okay, excuse me. I'll try to get this. My name is Jim Usselton. I judge the Éclairs and cream puffs. The good news is you guys all did a good job cooking your baker's roux. I mean, the cooking was really nice. Your batters looked good. The biggest problem you had was in the piping. Okay, you were really inconsistent as far as the size. What you guys got to remember is, okay, this is a timed competition. The bigger the product is, the longer it will take to bake. Okay? Now with the Éclairs, you had to do a 4 to 5 inch minimum. Okay? Most of you got the 4 to 5 inches, but where I saw wide variations was one would be 1 inch wide, and then there'd be another one would make one 2 inches wide. Okay? When you make them too wide, they take longer to bake, and the biggest problem we saw was under baking. Okay, you're taking them out too soon because they're taking too long in the oven because they're too big. So when you're piping them out, be aware of the actual size that it will take to bake. The thickness is important, okay? The other thing I noticed was in the industry, okay, if you make an Éclair and a cream puff, you should be using the same amount of batter, okay? I see a large Éclair and next to it I see a little cream puff. Okay, obviously it's not the same amount of batter. Okay, in the industry, okay, if you buy a cream puff or you buy an Éclair, you're paying the same price. Okay, one's bigger than the other, the customer's going to have a problem with it. Okay, so the biggest thing I can tell you is focus on the size as you pipe it out. But other than that, everything else looked good.
Hi everyone, I'm Chef Casey Schiller from St. Louis. I'm going to talk to you about the tea cookies. The biggest thing is consistency. So if you start and you're doing a rosette, make sure you're doing a full rosette all the way around, starting and stopping at the same spot. If you're going to do a shell, if you're going to do something else, just stick with that shape and make every single one the same size and start and stop piping in the same area. So that way they don't kind of splay on you in the oven. I really also, the taller you pipe that, the more dough that you pipe out into the cookie, realize that that's gonna, if you bake it that light, it's gonna be a little doughy in the middle and a little raw. Whereas if you have it no height, those get really, really crisp and a little bit too firm. So you're looking for that right balance of size, quarter size, not dimes, not Éclair or cream puff size. We're looking for quarters today, and just keep that consistency.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Niedzwicki. I'm from the Montgomery County Community College. I work there in Pennsylvania. Are you all glad this is over with? You did a great job. So this is really good for you to go through this. I know it can be very nerve-wracking. But it's really good, especially when you're in the business and you want to do this again, as far as competing in different organizations. I had judged the cake decorating, so there's 2 P's that I have for you, practice and plan. Okay, so a really good thing to do is when you're decorating a cake is to write it out first on the parchment paper and really plan it, because you want to use that area that you have on the sheet cake or the half sheet cake or a quarter sheet cake, whatever it is, because sometimes if the writing is too small and the roses are too small, there's too much space. On the opposite side, if they're too big, it looks like there's not enough cake. Okay, so you really have to look at that. Also, the symmetry of the cake. So make sure what I do is I actually go like this to look and make sure that your corners aren't going down. Okay, that seemed to be one of the common things we saw, but overall you did a great job, and practice the roses. okay? But I saw really nice roses, so good job on that. And I know, again, the conditions you're under are very stressful, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thanks, everybody. All the judges are done. You can take home what you'd like. There's boxes available. If you want to box your cake, you can take that home. Clean up the table, clean up your stations. And once everything is cleaned up, you're free to go. Thank you. Wait, hold it.
I told some of you that courtesy course snacks all got stolen today. So if there's something that you don't want outside of bread, please leave it for them, because they work all week free. They're the kids in the colored t-shirts. They work all week free helping us set up, wash dishes, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't want it, just tell me and I'll make sure it gets boxed up for them, okay? Thank you. Yeah, leave it on the display table or your table here, okay? Bob, do you gonna...
I know, my first time. I don't know if I introduced myself. I'm Chris Éclair, by the way, from Chicago, Illinois. So first off, I think kudos goes to you guys. I did the competition when I was in high school, and I did it when I was in college, so I've done them both. So I think it's really good for you to expose yourself to this kind of stuff. With the pies, what myself and Rob were looking for is when we did your shell, we were looking how thick you were cutting it, which is why you saw somebody walked by, you saw an X and we folded it up. Overall, I think they were a very good thickness, a couple thick here and there, but generally you're rolling out the right thickness. With the baked ones, I don't know if you saw, we were turning them out and holding them in our hands so we could see the bottom. Generally, they were all a little under. So the bottom crust was either soggy or the filling was about to bust through it. On the top side, 75% of them were baked beautifully. A couple here and there were just a little bit under. One or two of the crimping started to fall off. That just meant that either there was too much dough, or when you were crimping it, you didn't bring it up enough onto the rim of the pie shell. But other than that, I think it was a very good job with all the pies.
Okay, one more thing we almost forgot to do was let all your friends and advisors take your picture. So you want to line up right here, turn around and face that way. We know there's short people, so the short people are in front. I've been hearing about this high out of the short people all
like way together. Way together. All short. Okay, then some of you just kind of kneel down in front. Like, kneel down. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I can like.
Oh, very good.
I don't know if I'm here. Okay. Yay! I need to go to the angle. Okay. Great job. Good job, I appreciate it. Thank you. You rock so much too. I gotta take a picture. I have to figure out somewhere else to do high school, so it's not gonna work. Yes. Okay.